about Apostle, the new horror film from Netflix. Very excited about this film. Kind of came out of nowhere. That's not true, I actually knew about the existence of this film for some time. Let's wait a second for people to come over from Instagram and Twitter. I'm just going to play, let's do Domination, and let's talk Apostle. So what is Apostle? It's not the Robert Duvall movie from like 1996. It's not the Jim Caviezel movie, also released this year. Apostle is the new film from Gareth Evans, who is the director of the acclaimed films The Raid, Redemption, and The Raid 2. Those are incredible action films. I would say movies that recalibrated the industry's understanding of what great action was. Those are both films he shot in Indonesia in kind of an unconventional way. He went and prepped there unofficially. He basically made stars of the actors who were his leads, and he did it completely outside, not just outside of the studio system in the U.S., but he did it outside of the independent system in the U.S. He went and did it in Indonesia, and I think he's British, something like that. Anyway, so those movies were absolutely incredible and showed a lot of promise from Gareth Evans as a director. So this film, The Apostle, is a departure in that it is a horror film. It is not an action film. So a little bit of a left turn from this director. I expected his first studio film to also be short on story and big on action. But it ended up being much more nuanced and beautiful in a sort of terrifying way. I mean, it's awesome.
That's a kill.
Securing B.
You know, this movie is a horror film, but this movie is a horror film, but it has a very beautiful mythology at its heart, and part of the horror is seeing that mythology corrupted. I think so. Anyway, the film's lead is Dan Stevens, who you might know as Matthew Crawley from Downton Abbey. There's probably not a huge amount of crossover between Downton Abbey's audience and the audience for Apostle, but I happen to be in that crossover. And you know, he's made some. He was such a debonair, almost soft-looking dude in Downton Abbey that I never expected him to come out and do some of the exciting films that he's done. But he has starred in some pretty edgy stuff. He starred in The Guest as a sort of well, I don't want to ruin that movie for you, but it was a very, you know, hard edge character. He leaned out. He'd lost some weight and was playing a veteran in that in that movie. And yeah, he's done a bunch of exciting stuff, and I honestly don't know how he's working so much, because it seems like he's doing 4 or 5 movies a year, but he is the lead of the film. And he
not
is
one yet. Keep it tight.
In not every frame, but almost every frame of this movie as well. Oop, that guy's on my team. So yeah, what happens in Apostle? So Apostle opens with Dan Stevens' character looking pretty darn haggard. He looks pretty bad. And he gets a letter, and he comes back. He's been somewhere, we don't really know where, but he comes back and he gets this letter, and it's that his sister is missing and needs help, and she's crying out for help. So his father is you know, just completely destroyed by this situation. And what ends up happening is that, you know, apparently she has joined a religious organization of some kind and gone off somewhere. And
we're winning this.
Dan Stevens' journey begins by following her to. Oops. Thought I was gonna get out of that one alive, but I guess not. So he ends up following her
Hostile
to
UAV circling.
this refuge, this, I don't know what to call it, this place where this religious or group has set up, and he gets there first by train and then by boat. It's this movie where he goes on a journey to an island, and this island is a small island, but it's basically owned, you know, wholly owned and operated by this religious organization. This is a period film, so
We lost Alpha.
I don't know when this is set, but it looks like maybe 1800s or something, late 1800s.
Securing A. Good call. Hostile Hellstorm inbound.
And so he gets on a boat and he shows up. There go my legs. He gets on a boat and he shows up, and it's this beautiful island. Looks like one of the British Isles. Maybe everybody has British accents.
Ajax requesting
And
UAV tasking.
he
Charlie secure.
he slips right in as one of the
Hostile CUAV
followers of
detected.
these religious beliefs. It seems like some
Enemy
sort
UAV
of
above.
maybe pseudo-Christian cult. We don't really know, but you know, he has some interactions on the way over that are kind of scary. That kind of show that these people may have some beliefs that are, you know, less than orthodox. But so he shows up, and we end up in a church with. Come on, dog. Where you at? Why didn't he come after me? And he definitely had my number. So he goes to this island, and we end up walking around, and it's this. It almost looks like early American, you know. It almost looks like pilgrims have set up this village on this island, and you know, it's this new colony that looks like it was made by people who've been persecuted for their religious beliefs. Didn't see that guy coming.
Profit downgraded.
So he ends up in a church service, and the service is led by the I guess the spiritual leader of the island, played by Michael Sheen, and he gives a sermon, and we find out that that they have built this island from scratch, and they have carved their way of life out of the wilderness. In fact, I think we even get a little flashback to when they first arrived. But this is not a Christian cult of some kind. This is a pagan cult, and the island has a goddess, and that they have met and that they worship, and they pray to the goddess, and the goddess provides to them. But we find out pretty early on that the goddess, that they're out of favor, that something is wrong, because their crops are not growing, some things are not right, and that's sort of the path we go down. I don't really want to tell you more of the story than that,
Why ain't they flanking?
because I'm not going to include any spoilers on this. At least I do that. I don't want to spoil anything.
Establishing UAV overhead. TACOM request. Attack chopper on my grid.
maybe? That might stop her. Hey, we won.
KO pacified. Government forces take the win.
So what are the things I like about this movie? Without spoiling anything. It's very dark. I understand why this ended up on Netflix, other than the fact that Netflix apparently pays people a lot of money up front. It's a wonderful film. I think it currently has like 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's not what I would call broad audience fare. It's like a little too niche for a wide theatrical release, you know? Like, I have a hard time believing teenagers are gonna, you know, risk getting grounded to sneak into this movie. But it is a wonderful film, and you know, there's all this very beautiful pagan imagery, and you see how natural it would have been for a group of people in the 1700s or 1800s to slip back into pagan beliefs almost just by looking at the production design of the film, because these people are carving their life out of the land. Everything that you see is built with wood, and they're growing everything, and there is this deep connection to the land. And when you're living off in isolation on an island somewhere, and you have no connection to the Catholic Church or to clergy of any kind, you can kind of understand how they might, fall back into pagan beliefs.
Secure the objectives.
That's a very logical
Enemy took A.
conclusion to jump to.
C secure.
And some of the production design of this is awesome. Like, they do some great things with like
Enemy
roots
took
and
Bravo.
vines and flowers. A lot of it is practical. There's a little bit of there's actually a fair amount of CG in this movie, but it's used to great effect, and every time you see it, it is a gratuitous use.
Securing Alpha.
Launching mine.
Let's see if I can
Alpha
do this.
secure.
Nuts. Alright, now let me hide out at my favorite hiding spot. I'm not a big camper in this game, but I love camping this spot. Nobody ever looks up here.
Taking B. Losing Charlie.
TACOM, deploy UAV on my
We have the
grid.
advantage.
Yeah, the
Losing Charlie.
it is a horror film, and one of my tests for how much I'm gonna like a movie is
Lost
how
Charlie.
I feel at the midpoint of that movie. Come on, dude.
Profit
Yes.
check.
This position's
We've
always
lost
good
control.
for at least one kill.
Securing B.
Let's see if my brethren are gonna go out and protect me. Probably not. How did I not kill that guy? That's probably the guy I should have killed. I'm so used to having my grenades and claymores and all my tools of the trade in the original Black Ops, which was the last Black Ops I played. Especially when I'm on a map like this that is one of the original maps.
Foot mobile.
Hostile UAV circling.
So, what are some films I can reference here? There's a little bit of a Wicker Man vibe going on. Wicker Man is a great film if you have not seen it. I'm not talking about the Nicolas Cage one with all the bees. I'm talking about the original with that was also set on a British Isle, and that is about a journalist who goes back to
Securing B.
investigate a missing girl. So that sort of framework is very similar to the framework that we see here.
Kill.
Ugh. Finally.
Recon kill.
Securing Charlie.
I didn't recover fast enough to kill that guy. Where did that come from? Alright, let me get back in my favorite hiding spot.
Take what you can from this and win the next round.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities to the Wicker Man, and you know, some of the photography in this movie is very beautiful. It almost kind of reminds me of I don't know. I hesitate to say the New World, that Terrence Malick film, but there's a very like pilgrimy vibe to the whole thing, and you know, they cast a lot of British and Scottish actors.
Halftime.
Maybe I should have been a little bit more bold that round.
Mission compromised. Try again.
Threat neutralized.
And it is expertly directed. You know, Gareth Evans is really a talented director,
Clean kill.
and I can't wait to see what he's
Capture
got
the
lined up
objective.
next, because he has a great eye. I'm actually very encouraged that he
Taking A.
did not jump directly to doing a big, like a Star Wars film or something
Enemy
like
took
that.
Charlie.
Boomer down.
A
You know,
secure.
because he has that kind of talent. He has that
Taking C.
eye, where, you know, like Colin Trevorrow or another young director that got
Enemy took
snatched up,
Bravo.
you know, after
Firing
making one
Cessna
movie
target.
to then make a giant tentpole movie. Gareth Evans did not end up in that situation for whatever reason, and that's probably a great thing. I think he is a guy that has a very particular vision and a violent vision. You know, his movies have been very violent,
Wasted torque.
and I don't know that he would get that kind of freedom working for Marvel. He certainly had a lot of freedom when he was making his first films in Indonesia. And I think that's one of the reasons he went there, was because he felt like, I think he was, from memory, I could be wrong, I think he was dating, or he was married to somebody from Indonesia, but, you know, I think he had a lot of freedom down there, even though it was a less than orthodox
Coastal on my grid.
prep and a less than orthodox.
Hostile UAV circling.
But it seems like he's a planner. It seems like he's somebody with a very particular idea of what he wants to do. He is great at using
Losing Bravo.
the camera to tell a story and to teach us about characters and their relationships. I can tell his camera work is very intentional. These are not films that are being made in the editing room. You know, he is executing a plan on screen.
Losing B.
And yeah, I just thought it was a really wonderful film. I don't want to tell you any more about it, but definitely check it out. It's on Netflix right now. Watch it in 4K if you can. It's a really pretty film. Check it out. All right, so I've got to talk about.
Lost Bravo.
I got to review Suspiria soon. I've still got to talk about The Haunting of Hill House. I've got another game I'm gonna play. I'm looking for a throwback game I can play. Like Duke Nukem. I think I might play some Duke Nukem. I'm talking about the original Duke Nukem. I'm trying to find some things other than Black Ops 4 to stream for you guys. Because everybody and their grandmother is streaming Black Ops 4.
Enemy UAV above.
I want to keep things spicy. Let's see.
One machine in the open.
There go my legs.
Losing Alpha.
Grab storm available.
Securing Charlie. Hostile UAV circling.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna play some Duke Nukem. I think I'm gonna play some, did I kill that guy? I did. Awesome. He also
This is
killed
it.
me, but
No last chances.
what's fair is fair.
Securing C.
I'm gonna use my ground smashy thing. Where this round is over with. And I didn't get to.
AOR is lost.
Son of a
Mission is
gun.
Charlie Fox.
Alright, friends, that is The Apostle. Go check it out. It's a great horror film. Gareth Evans is an awesome director. And Dan Stevens is not Matthew Crowley any longer.